Maya was happily living in a small house in a quiet suburb of Boston, with her husband David and their 5-year-old son Ethan. David was an architect, who had built up a small, but successful firm through his hard work. Though Maya was a homemaker, she helped David manage the business paperwork and accounts. Their life was filled with love, small dreams, and plans for the future. Ethan was their apple of the eye, his smile brightened their days. The relationship between David and Maya was built on deep understanding and mutual respect. David loved Maya's Bengali culture, and Maya had adapted well to David's American lifestyle. Both of them dreamed of giving Ethan a beautiful future. Their little home was a refuge of love, where every corner held memories of happiness. Ethan's drawings adorned the fridge, and the wooden toys crafted by David stood proudly in the living room. Every evening, when David returned home, Ethan would run up and hug him tightly, and Maya would prepare warm coffee for them. Those moments were the dearest in Maya's life. One day, everything changed. David died in a horrific car accident on his way home from the firm. Maya's world seemed to freeze in an instant. Grief, disbelief, and a profound emptiness engulfed her. Her beloved was no longer there, her life partner, the father of her child. In this difficult time, Maya felt utterly alone. Her own family was in Australia, and David's parents, Susan and his brother Mark, had never been very close to her. After David's death, Susan and Mark stood by Maya's side, at least initially. Susan, David's mother, was a strong-willed and influential woman. Offering consolation, she said, "Maya, my David is gone, but you and Ethan are still family. We will not leave you alone." Mark, David's brother, agreed with his mother. Maya felt some relief with their support. David had a large life insurance policy, and Maya was the sole beneficiary. The firm was also in Maya's name, as they ran the business jointly. After David's death, when Maya spoke with his lawyer, Mr. Thompson, she learned that David had left all his assets to Maya and Ethan in his will. Though this gave her some financial security, her emotional trauma was immense. Mr. Thompson explained all the legal procedures clearly and assured her he would be there whenever she needed help. But Maya was so grief-stricken that she couldn't focus on anything. A few weeks later, after David's funeral and initial mourning had subsided, Susan came to Maya with a proposal. "Maya," she said, "you're alone now, with great responsibility for Ethan. Managing David's business and all these documents will be difficult for you. Why don't you come and live with us? We have a big house, and Ethan can stay with his grandfather and grandmother. Mark and I will take care of David's business until you get back on your feet." Susan's proposal initially seemed compassionate to Maya. She felt that in this hard time, David's family was her only support. At first, Maya hesitated. She wanted to stay in her own home with David's memories, the scent, his belongings, the closeness they gave her. But Susan's reasons were compelling. Could she really manage Ethan alone and run the business both? It seemed impossible. Besides, Susan and Mark's offer was wrapped in love. Maya thought they genuinely cared for her. So, with a heart full of pain and uncertainty, Maya left her small home and moved into Susan's spacious mansion. Susan's home was in an affluent neighborhood of the city, with vast gardens and a swimming pool. Maya thought this would be a good environment for Ethan. She did not know this decision would become the greatest mistake of her life. An unknown fear lurked in her mind, but engulfed in grief, she paid no attention to it. Susan and Mark took complete control of David's business. They explained to Maya that the business was now suffering losses, and would require considerable investment and hard work to revive. Grieving and inexperienced, Maya believed them. Susan convinced Maya to give them some portion of David's life insurance money, calling it urgent business expenses and investment for Ethan's future. Maya, trusting them blindly, handed over the money. She thought the fact that David's family was supporting her was what truly mattered. But this trust sowed a new crisis for her. Susan forced Maya to give her all passwords and login details for David's personal and business bank accounts. They told her this was only a temporary arrangement, so they could quickly manage the business. Maya, placing complete faith in them, handed over all the information. She still had no suspicions then, clinging only to David's memories to survive. For the first few months, Susan and Mark treated Maya with considerable care. Ethan was happy living with his grandparents. Susan bought Ethan expensive toys, and Mark took him to the park. But gradually, Maya realized she was merely a guest in that house, not a family member. Susan never involved her in any discussions about David's business or finances. Whenever Maya asked, Susan would say, "Maya, don't worry about these things. We are handling everything. You just focus on Ethan." Mark echoed the same. They kept Maya busy with household chores, ensuring she had no opportunity to think about the business. Her personal freedom was slowly being taken away. She had to ask Susan's permission to go out, and had fewer chances to meet her friends. Maya began to feel increasingly isolated and lonely. It was as if she were trapped in a golden cage. Maya noticed that Susan and Mark's lifestyle suddenly improved dramatically. Susan bought new jewelry, wore expensive clothes, and often visited luxurious spas. She always carried brand new designer bags. Mark bought a new sports car and frequently played golf with friends. His style of dressing changed as well. Yet they told Maya the business was struggling and they faced severe financial pressures. Doubts crept into Maya's mind. If David's business was failing, how were they affording such luxuries? And where had David's life insurance money gone? Whenever Maya raised these questions, Susan made her emotionally vulnerable, saying, "Don't you trust us, Maya? We are David's family. Would we ever harm you or Ethan?" Such words silenced Maya. Mark echoed, "Maya, you're worrying too much. Mom is just investing for Ethan's future." Their words only deepened Maya's suspicions. One day, while going through David's old laptop, Maya found some files, business financial records and bank statements. Secretly, she started reviewing them. She discovered that although the business income had decreased after David's death, suspicious large sums were regularly transferred into Susan's and Mark's personal accounts. Expenses were recorded that had nothing to do with business, such as Susan's personal shopping bills or Mark's golf club membership. Maya also found that a large portion of David's life insurance money was funneled into a risky real estate investment project of Susan's within a month of David's death. Susan had long wanted to start this project, but David had opposed it. Checking David's emails, Maya came across correspondence between Susan and Mark planning how to deceive her and seize David's property after his death. In those emails, Maya was referred to as the naive Bengali girl and easy prey. Maya's world collapsed beneath her feet. Her trust was shattered in two pieces. The family she had considered her own was deceiving her. They were exploiting her grief to strip her of her wealth. Maya felt utterly alone and helpless, like she had fallen into a deep abyss with no way out. Memories of David and his love flooded her mind. Maybe if David had lived, this would never have happened. A deep pain and anger began to build inside her. She realized that staying one more moment in that house was unsafe. For Ethan's future, she had to fight back. At that moment, Maya's old friend Sarah came to visit. Sarah was Maya's college friend and a lawyer at a prominent law firm in New York. Seeing Maya so depressed, Sarah grew concerned. At first, Maya wanted to say nothing, ashamed and scared. But Sarah's sincerity broke her walls, and she revealed everything, from David's death to Susan and Mark's betrayal. Sarah listened carefully. She comforted Maya and assured her she was not alone. Sarah asked, "Do you have any proof? Bank statements, business records, emails. Maya nodded yes. Sarah advised, gather all the evidence quietly. Don't let them know you are onto them. I will help you. Sarah's words gave Maya some courage. She understood now she must stand up for herself and Ethan. She would no longer be weak. This time, she would unmask them. Sarah also told Maya that family betrayals like this are common and legal action is possible. She promised to support Maya fully with all legal assistance. Maya silently vowed never again to rely on anyone's pity or mercy. She would stand on her own feet and start a new life with Ethan. Her dormant inner strength was awakening. With Sarah's help, Maya gathered all the evidence, financial transactions of David's business, bank statements detailing funds transferred to Susan's and Mark's personal accounts, and documents tracing David's life insurance money. She carefully preserved every paper without leaving anything out. While doing this, Maya realized how cunningly her in-laws had deceived her. Every step was driven by greed and deceit. Overcoming her fears, Maya steeled herself. She knew this battle would not be easy, but she must fight for Ethan's future. Sarah explained the legal process in detail and prepared her mentally. Together, they devised a plan on how to confront Susan and Mark. One evening, when Susan, Mark, and Mark's wife Emily were at home, Maya appeared before them with all the documents. Her face was firm, her eyes blazing with determination. Susan was initially surprised, but soon a look of irritation crossed her face. What is this, Maya? Why bring all these papers at this hour? Susan asked, her tone commanding. She had always considered Maya weak and dependent and expected to dismiss her complaints easily. Without preamble, Maya said, I know what you have done to me. I have proof of how much money you took from David's business, and where the life insurance money went. Maya's voice was calm but resolute, which shocked Susan. Disbelief flashed in her eyes. Susan first froze, then sneered cruelly, What nonsense are you talking about? Have you lost your mind? We cared for you, and you call us thieves. Susan tried to make Maya appear weak and delusional, thinking her grief-clouded mind was making mistakes. Mark supported his mother, Maya, you misunderstand. We were only helping you. The business was sinking. Fear showed in Mark's eyes, but he tried to protect himself by siding with his mother. Emily, Mark's wife, sat silently, uncomfortable. She knew what her husband and mother-in-law were doing but had never dared to speak up. Maya held out a bank statement and said, Look here, within a month of David's death, $500,000 of the life insurance money was transferred into your personal account, Susan. And over the last 6 months, nearly $1 million from David's business has gone into Mark's account, money that was not used for business, but for your new car and jewelry. One by one, Maya presented all the evidence. Each document stood as a silent witness to their deceit. She even showed printed emails detailing their conspiracy. Susan and Mark's faces went pale. They realized Maya knew everything, and their lies and schemes had been exposed. Susan tried to intimidate Maya. If you make a fuss over this, I'll make life hell for you and Ethan. You don't know what I'm capable of. Her voice was venomous, eyes burning with anger. She stood and advanced toward Maya as if to physically threaten her. Maya smiled bitterly. I'm not afraid of you anymore, Susan. I've already talked to my lawyer. If you don't return all my money and hand over full control of David's business to me within 48 hours, I will sue you. I have all the proof, and I won't hesitate to see you behind bars. Maya's resoluteness stunned Susan. She had never seen this strength in Maya before. The fire of anger in her eyes died down, replaced by fear. Sarah, standing beside Maya, stepped forward. I'm Sarah, Maya's attorney. We will file charges of fraud, embezzlement, and breach of trust against you. If you want to settle this out of court, now is the time to decide." Sarah's professional tone and confidence broke Susan and Mark's last resistance. They looked at each other, eyes full of fear and despair. They understood that Maya was no longer vulnerable. She was a new Maya ready to fight for her rights. Emily, Mark's wife, finally spoke up. "Mom, Mark, do what Maya says. We were wrong." Her words broke Susan and Mark's last hope. Susan and Mark had no choice but to accept Maya's demands. They knew the evidence guaranteed their imprisonment. Reluctantly, they returned all the money to Maya and handed over full control of David's business. The entire process took several weeks, all supervised by Sarah. Maya recovered all her assets. The life insurance money and business funds were back in her account. Maya severed all ties with them. Though painful, since she had once considered David's family as her own, this separation was essential for her peace of mind. She realized some relationships are toxic, and it's best to stay away. She left Susan's house and returned to her small home, where David's memories still remained vivid. Back in her old home, Maya began a new life with Ethan. She worked hard to revive David's business. She hired an experienced business consultant and received legal and business support from Sarah. Maya started learning every detail of David's firm. She understood how David ran his business and built relationships with clients. She wanted to preserve David's dream, but in her own way. She researched new business avenues and embarked on fresh projects using her creativity. Maya faced many challenges in the beginning. Financial strain, loneliness, and doubts often overwhelmed her. She worked late nights poring over business documents and took care of Ethan during the day. Her sleep was minimal, but her resolve was unwavering. Ethan's smile fueled her strength. Ethan became her inspiration. Maya started mingling with neighbors and volunteered at the local community center. Gradually, she built a new social circle with genuine friends and supporters. Sarah remained a constant pillar of encouragement. Maya formed a small team to help her in the business. She learned to trust them and built a familial bond with her staff. They respected and loyally supported her. Maya renamed David's firm and relaunched it. Combining her creativity with David's principles, she created a new business model. She fostered good relationships with employees and valued their opinions. Due to her hard work and integrity, the business started gaining profits again. Maya realized she was not alone. Those who stood beside her were her true family. She found new joy in life, not just from financial success, but from self-respect and confidence. She had become a successful woman standing on her own, shaping her own destiny. 5 years had passed. Maya was now a thriving businesswoman. David's firm was officially in her name and more successful than ever. She had bought a new home where she lived happily with Ethan. Ethan was now a cheerful 10-year-old boy. He had grown up witnessing his mother's struggles and was proud of her. Ethan learned from Maya how to fight adversity and uphold one's values. Maya gave Ethan a beautiful and safe future, one she could never have imagined after David's death. Maya was no longer the weak and helpless woman she once was. She was confident, independent, and strong. She had survived her toughest times and now knew how to fight for her rights. She had not forgotten her past, but had learned from it. She understood that true family does not always come from blood ties, but can be formed through bonds of love. Her life now included Sarah and new friends who loved and supported her selflessly. Maya used her experience to help others, teaching women who had fallen victim to familial betrayals how to fight for themselves. One evening, Maya sat in the garden of her new home, chatting with Ethan. He was telling her about his school day, and she was smiling. Her mind drifted to David and his love. Though he was gone, his memory would always be part of her life. Maya knew David would be proud of her. She had preserved and expanded his dream. Her firm was now known as one of the city's premier architectural firms. Looking at the sky, Maya felt she had reached a new horizon. Her life was now filled with peace, prosperity, and love. She had forged her own fate and was truly victorious. Her story was not just one of a woman's struggle, but of confidence, courage, and love. It proved that even in life's darkest moments, one can rise if the heart holds an indomitable will and love. Maya was now an inspiration to other women facing similar ordeals. She worked with a non-profit organization, providing legal and emotional support to women victimized by family deceit. She helped others with her experience, teaching them to fight for themselves. Maya's life was complete and meaningful. She was a role model showing how one can overcome adversity and rebuild life. Her smile was brighter, her eyes more confident. She knew life would bring many more challenges, but she was ready. She was no longer alone.